All right, we're live. Who's here with us tonight? We're right at 8 o'clock, like we always said. We're going to be here at 8 o'clock. Nobody's here, but it's all good. So we'll see when people start joining. Maybe we'll get a couple folks to join us. But thank you to everybody who watched last week's episode. This week's going to be awesome because we're going to be talking about our times that Tony and I both spent in psychiatric facilities with our
Yeah.
different reasons for being in there we'll
Yeah.
talk about, but before we get started, we just wanted to say thanks again to everybody who watched last week. We had 538 views last week, 538, which is a big increase from last week. And we didn't get too many likes. We only got a couple likes, and we did not get any more new subscribers. So I guess nobody liked what they watched, right? So, but hopefully we'll get some more subscribers. We are also still looking for some sponsors. If you want to sponsor the show, all the money will be donated to Right Way Outreach Ministries nonprofit organization, which helps people like Tony when he needs it, and other people in situations like Tony. But we have our big campaign to raise. We have it set at $200,000. We probably won't need quite that much to find a house that we can use for what we want to do. We're going to talk about that in a little bit because Tony and I have had some kind of new news with that, what we're going to do.
Yeah.
But let's see. So sponsors, we're looking for like starting like $100 for a weekly sponsor. If you want to be a weekly sponsor, you can just go to the place in the description where you can donate. You can make a donation and then just contact me and tell me what the donation was for the sponsorship for your business or whatever, and we will make sure we give you a plug on the show.
Yeah.
And then we're also going to do $250 for a monthly sponsor if you want to do
That's a
for a
great
whole
deal.
month. That's 4 shows, right?
Yeah, that's a
So
great
you
deal.
get 4 shows for $250. You get mentioned in those shows. So, but all right. So I want to talk about some updates for the week and what's been going on. It's kind of been a kind of crazy week. I mean, at least for me, I'm so tired, man. I've been working like a dog every night, and real estate's really been going crazy. You all know God blessed me with this new job with a new brokerage now, and I partnered with the owner, and I'm helping him recruit new agents. I've been real busy doing all these appointments with new agents, recruiting them, and having people join the brokerage, helping them. The one girl who just affiliated, she actually just wrote a contract last night. She just affiliated yesterday.
Yeah,
Wrote a
yeah.
contract last night, got it
Already?
accepted. Yeah,
Wow, that's
Keisha.
awesome.
Keisha's
Yeah. Good
awesome.
job,
So
Keisha.
we got her some more leads today. So she's gonna be rocking and rolling with
That's
that.
great.
Doing an open house for me this weekend already. Just came here. So but I'm just trying to organize everything. I've been just crazy. I was here last night. I had Bible study at the office last night, which it's kind of funny, man. My last broker I worked with, he was like, didn't want nothing to do with Jesus. He's
Yeah.
like, whatever you do, I don't want that in my building. Get that stuff out of my office. Don't mix religion and business. It has no place for each other.
Yeah.
He sent me like scathing emails, like, do not, whatever you do not have Bible study in my offices.
Wow.
So, and here's what's ironic about that. What's ironic is so last night, usually I do the Bible studies on the last Wednesday of every month, if anybody ever wants to join. And it's a co-ed group. It's for men and women, no matter what age you are. You can come in and we'll get some pizza and stuff once everybody gets here. And we just pick a chapter and read the chapter and just kind of talk about discussion questions. We use a little artificial intelligence to help us come up with some good, solid discussion
Are
questions.
you yawning?
Yeah, a little bit, man. So
That's
it's
great.
just I got my
Yeah.
coffee
He's
here,
got his
man. It's
coffee.
just one of them nights. So
It'll catch up.
mm. But anyway, so we had that, and what happened last night was because I changed the night, I only had one guy show up. This guy Mike, right? and
Yeah.
he actually is a real estate agent. He's from another company, and I'm not going to name it because I don't want to, let his company know what's going on.
Right.
But he was here and he saw my ad and he came and it just turned into a great night. We actually wound up talking to almost 10:30 last night, me and him. And it turns out, he's not real happy at his real estate brokerage because they're not really giving him the mentoring and the coaching and stuff.
Is he new to?
He's done about 10 deals or so. So he knows what he's doing with like contracts and
Yeah.
stuff. Like I don't have to like teach him how to like write the contracts and do all the stuff on the like he knows how to do it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
But he just needs help, generating leads. He's a
Yeah.
little older, so he needs kind of like learn how to work his database, learn how to generate leads, learn all that stuff. So
Gotcha.
so I told him, look, man, you come over here, I'll coach you. That's what I do is I coach agents. And so look, jokes on my old broker, right? He said, absolutely no Bible studies. And we wound
Right.
up doing a Bible study. And what happened? Now the brokerage has a new agent that
Right.
just affiliated with the
Right.
brokerage, which makes the brokerage more money.
Right.
So who knew Bible
But that's
studies
how
were
God
the
works.
yeah, but who knew Bible studies were the new way to recruit real estate agents, right?
God works in
And I'll
mysterious
tell you,
ways, brother.
I mean, I'll tell you,
Mysterious ways.
what happens is, you recruit an agent like that at a Bible study. I guarantee they're going to be loyal and they're not going to
Sure.
leave. They're going to stay
Sure.
for a while. When you get a good Christian brother in here, I mean, soon you'll have your real estate license. We're
Yeah.
going to get you licensed.
Yeah.
Start doing
But I
open
heard it's
houses.
difficult in the sense of like it's like passing the bar.
Well,
You gotta learn a lot of
you
laws.
got to learn. You got to take a class. You got to take a class, and
Yeah.
you can actually do it online. I think the bar to get into the real estate industry is pretty darn low because you can be, basically a high school dropout. You can be a convicted felon, and you can take a 60-hour online course, pass a test, and now you're a real estate agent, right?
Wow. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? You're dealing with somebody's largest financial asset,
Right.
and you can be a felon, So I think, honestly, something needs to be done about that. I really, I have my own feelings, but like, yeah, if you're like a financial advisor, I mean, they don't let felons do that kind of stuff. So,
Right.
like, but anyway, that's a whole nother topic there. So,
Another podcast.
yeah, so how was so before we get into the whole psychiatric stay, because I know
Yeah.
that's what everybody wants to hear about, which is what
Yeah.
we're going to spend the majority of time on. How is work and job going with you right now? You're still at Red Brick, right?
Yeah. Still at Red
Yeah.
Brick. Still putting in the hours there.
Just want to try to get a little bit more hours,
Yeah,
but they
I need
can't
some
give you
more
too many,
hours and
right?
I need some more income,
Right. Yeah.
and you sent me
Mhm.
a link today about flipping furniture, which I think is a brilliant idea,
Yeah, man. Yeah.
because even if you get on the free side of Facebook Marketplace,
Mhm.
and pick up a table and, just buff that out and make it look real nice,
Right.
then, 100% profit.
Right.
So
100%. Right.
I'm always looking for stuff
And you
like
got
that
your
too.
pickup truck,
Yeah,
so
yeah, I can put
get on. I
large
think
pieces of furniture
I'm
in my
telling you,
pickup
man.
truck.
All you got to do is like every day that you get up, just get on Facebook Marketplace, try to find something for free that's close by, and just go get it,
Yeah,
right? And put it in the truck, and then you'll have a whole bunch of stuff in there. And then what you can do is clean it up, and then take a nice picture of it, in a nice like with a nice background or something like that,
yeah,
and then and then upload it to Facebook Marketplace for free,
right.
and then just say like 25 bucks or whatever, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like, and just flip it,
yeah,
just flip it, somebody will
yeah.
buy it, somebody buys that kind of stuff. And you just have them come pick it up or whatever,
Mhm.
and you make some money for yourself that way. So it's probably not a bad gig, but I mean, at least temporarily, you know what I mean? Until
Yeah,
you can get a
yeah,
job during the day, it's something to
right.
do during the day, right? And you can have your dog with you in the
Right,
car
right.
when you're going to pick the stuff
Of
up. So
course.
that, I mean, if you could make, $100 a day, 5 days a week, that's $500
Yeah,
cash, no taxes,
absolutely.
right? Don't tell
Absolutely.
the IRS guys, don't tell them, right? Don't report that.
I'll
And don't
still
tell the ex-wife either, because she's going to
no,
want
right,
child
right,
support
right,
out of that tax cash money,
right.
and you can't tell her either. Um, But anyway, so
And I
Tony
sold a
is
painting
he
this week.
sold a painting,
This
right?
guy Bill that I went to high school with, great guy, great
Mhm,
guy. I
mhm.
mean, back in high school, we used to party like a lot, and this guy Bill was one of the
Yeah,
wildest dudes
yeah.
that I hung out with. But
Mhm.
you remember you had that elite meeting
Yeah, the
over there?
agents, the elite agent
Yeah,
mastermind. Yeah.
where was that? The Hunt
It was
Valley?
at, Eagles Nest Country Club.
Eagles Nest
Mhm,
Country Club.
mhm.
Well, I posted a picture um when I was at Eagles
Mhm.
Nest. Your photographer took a picture of me like standing next to one
Right.
of my paintings.
Mhm.
And I posted that and I said, "Hey, look, here I am at Eagles Nest displaying this painting. It's still available." And sure enough, my friend Bill said, "I like it. Are you coming down to Ocean City?" That's where he lives now.
Oh, wow.
I said, "No, I'm not heading down there. I don't know anybody heading down there." I was like, "But it should be next to nothing to
Yeah,
ship it
right,
to you."
ship it FedEx, right.
And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah, good.
Shipped it to
Yeah.
him. It took, I think, 24 hours.
Well,
He
see,
had
now
it the
yeah,
next
so
day.
now you know how to do that. So
Yeah,
now we just gotta, like we gotta figure out how to get you more hits on your website,
yeah,
or get the word out on the internet for where people can go to buy art. Because I mean, we have,
yeah,
like, 70 some paintings downstairs.
yeah.
Speaking of art, we are still penciling in, I think I have it penciled in on my, calendar. Hold on, I'm pulling it up on, Sunday, June 14th. We're going to try to do a local art show for Tony here at Gamire Homes in Perry Hall.
Yeah,
So we're going to try to promote that a little bit, maybe like a week before the event. I'll get on Facebook, invite like 500 of my friends, and then Tony can invite 500 of his friends, and
yep,
we'll try to get our friends to invite 500 of their friends. Just invite a whole bunch of people, come out and have
yeah,
a good afternoon. And maybe we'll have some, some, maybe we'll get somebody to donate some Chick-fil-A or something
yeah,
platter with some
yeah.
nuggets, and we'll get some
Have
bottled
some
water,
food, have some
whatever,
drinks. Yeah,
have
of
some
course.
food, drinks, whatever,
Yep.
or snacks or something.
Heck, Bill
To,
might even
yeah,
be down for something like that.
yeah, maybe we could do it. I mean, that would be cool if we could do it, even like red brick or something, but I don't know. I don't know. We have to talk to him about that. But anyway, so your house situation, you're still living in the temporary house right now, which
Yeah.
is tough because you got to get out for showings. Like, I'm doing an open house on Sunday, so you got to get out for that.
I thought it was tomorrow,
Yeah, oh,
Saturday.
I'm sorry. I'm doing. You know what? You're right. I'm
Yeah.
so tired, man. I
Yeah,
don't
I know.
even know what day it
It's
is.
all
Right?
good, brother.
Today's Friday,
Yeah,
right?
it's
Isn't it
tomorrow,
Friday?
so
Yeah. So
it is
we're doing the
Friday.
show,
Yeah.
so it's Friday,
Right.
right? So
Yeah.
that's I remember stuff. But yeah. So tomorrow is going to be from 12 to 1. I'm doing an open house where Tony's living
Yeah.
at 9212 Snyder, right? That's where
Mhm.
we're at. So
Nice house, really
yeah,
nice
really
house.
nice rehab. It's really nice condition. So we've had a lot of people look at it. So hopefully we'll
Yeah.
get somebody to buy it soon. And then I got my own house that I'm doing an open house at tomorrow too. I had a pretty interested buyer come through it today, this afternoon. Actually, with my new broker brought him, so it's one of his investment partners. So
Oh, cool.
if that works out,
Looking
that'd
at
be
your
yeah, yeah,
house.
yeah. He was looking at my own house,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So that would be really cool if something worked out for that. I mean, it's amazing how God works. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely saying my prayers about that one,
Yeah,
man.
man.
Because once
Yeah.
that house sells, my life changes, man.
Yeah,
Your life,
absolutely.
your life's gonna change too. Because
Yeah.
we're gonna be able to figure something out probably with
Put you
you.
back in the millionaire category.
Well, I'm there now,
Yeah.
but I don't feel like it.
Right.
I don't
Ah,
feel,
yeah.
I don't, because I
Yeah.
can't touch none of it. It's like
Yeah.
it's all way, but I
Yeah.
can't touch none of it
I
without
know that feeling.
penalties and
Right.
taxes and everything
Yep.
So, but anyway, so we are still looking for a more like stable place of home for Tony. Are you able to save any money? I mean, because if you were living somewhere, you'd be paying money. So are you doing what I told you to do and setting some on the side
Yes. Yep.
and doing
I
your
have
budget?
I have some like in a specific account that is like the no touch money.
All right. So you
You
did
know what I'm
open an
saying?
account. You did open an account,
No, it's
or is it an
my
envelope?
Cash App.
Oh, it's Cash App.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's
it's
a
through
cash,
my Cash
but
App.
it's
Yeah.
online, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay. But
online,
it's
it's
like
on my
do
phone.
not touch, right?
That's the don't touch
Yeah,
money.
good. That's just
I'm
let's put
saving.
away some money because we got to
Yes.
save some. Use this opportunity to save some cash money,
Yeah,
right? Good. So we're trying to get Tony on a little budget here, and but we have decided, like, once we finally get some money together, Tony and I are actually going to partner together, and we're gonna get a house together and do a
yeah,
recovery house
this
because
is great.
I mean, you lived in it, you know the real
Yeah,
deal, you know the rules,
yeah,
you know how to run it, you know everything. So
yeah.
we're gonna
You
get the
know what the main
house.
thing is, Mike? And this is it. I just want to help other people.
That's it,
I
man.
just want
Right,
to help people that are in the position that I was in
right,
or that I'm in
right,
now,
right.
and just to see them get back on their feet.
But we want to
You
do it the
know?
right way, and we
Yeah,
want to get licensed, right, the
yeah,
right way through the state,
yep.
and then eventually have insurance pay for these people to stay. And
Hmm.
we'll just literally go down to the homeless shelter when we got a vacancy and just
Yeah,
say, "Is there anybody in here that wants to come?"
yeah,
And then boom, just have them come, and then we'll do the same thing where Right Way can pay for the first month until insurance kicks
mhm,
in, right,
yeah,
and then we'll help the people while they're there, and then we'll have some CR. We'll take them to CR once a
yeah,
week as a group. The whole house will go to CR
yeah.
celebrate. For those who don't know what CR is Celebrate
Uh-huh.
Recovery. So we'll take them to a Celebrate Recovery once a week. And they'll have sponsors and stuff. They can get
Bible
a
studies. We
sponsor.
can bring
We're
Bible
gonna we're gonna
studies
do
in
like a
there.
Bible study once a month at the
Hmm.
house for everybody, and and do it that way and do it the right way, because
Hmm.
where Tony was staying, they didn't provide anything, man. They didn't do nothing. It was just like, just pay us and shut up and go in your room and
Yeah,
don't cause problems. It's like a hotel. It's not a recovery house. It's a joke.
yeah,
So we want to do it the right way. We actually want to help these people. And Tony's in the process of getting his Section 8 vouchers for housing. So once that gets approved, I think he's going to go through that experience so he knows what it's like to be on the vouchers and how the program works. So that once we get our house, he can start coaching some of these guys and telling them, hey, man, here's what you're entitled to. Go talk to so and so down at social
right,
services, and she's going to take care of getting you all your stuff you
right.
need, and then get them. That way we can constantly move these guys up and not just hand out. Like, we're moving them up and getting them into like independent housing, for a while, and then they'll be on that, and they can hopefully have a job, save some money, fix their credit, and then eventually turn them into maybe a homeowner where they can have enough money saved where we can actually sell them, get them a house and help them buy a house. So
Yeah,
that's kind of the whole way to solve this problem, of a lot of these homeless people. Now, is it going to fix all of them? No, because some of them are never going to stop using and they're never going to make it.
yeah.
And they're just not going to make it in our program because you're not going to be able to use while you're in our program. So, but I just really feel like, God kind of led us together,
Hmm.
and, he's kind of like, we're like baby stepping everything. You ever seen
Yeah,
that movie, like What About Bob, right?
yeah,
You ever seen that? Like
yeah,
like
yeah.
it's
Bill Murray, right?
baby steps, or what was it? What was it? Was it baby steps or
No, something else.
something steps, right? Like one
Yeah,
step at a time kind of thing, right?
yeah, yeah.
But the whole thing
Maybe
is
it
is
was
that
baby
I
steps.
think it was baby steps, right? You
Yeah,
just take baby steps,
yeah.
and just one little thing at a time, and then until you experience everything, and then you build on your experience, you learn from your
Yeah.
experience, and then you can help other people, right?
I had a sponsor one time, great sponsor, and he used to tell me, "Tony, just do the next right thing.
Right, next right thing.
Just the
Look at
next
that,
right
man.
thing."
That's
You
perfect.
know? If it's tying your shoes, just do the
Right.
next right thing.
That's perfect. So
Mhm.
that's what we're going to do. I do want to take this time to remind you that if you would like to make a donation to Right Way Outreach Ministries, you certainly can. All you have to do is go to the description, click on the donation
Mhm.
Bitly code, and it'll take you to our Zephy app where you can make a one-time donation of
Mhm.
whatever amount you want, or you can do a monthly donation and set up a recurring donation that
Right.
would pay us every month, and then and maybe start tithing some of your money like you're supposed to do, knowing it's going to go to a good, solid local nonprofit organization that
Mhm.
helps people the right way.
And knowing
Um,
that it's a complete tax write-off.
Right, right. And then I also got some swag in this week. I
Mhm.
got some swag, some Gamire home swag
I
in.
like it. I like it.
I got my magnets for my car, so I got the magnets on my car now. And then I got my business cards
Look at
in.
that handsome fella.
Look at that. You want to hear what I did with this business card, right? See that QR code right there? It says scan for a free 30-minute consult, right? So if you scan that card, you can schedule a 30-minute consultation with me on the phone.
Oh,
So
wow.
you know what I did, right? I said, I got the cards. I said, hey, I said to my wife, I said, hey, honey, I said, I got a whole new stack of cards I need you to put in your wallet. And I said, guess what? I got some great news. If you ever want to talk to me, all you got to do is scan this QR code.
And
Scan,
it'll go right
and
to
then
it.
you can book an appointment with me on the one. And
Right,
she's
and she'll
like,
get a whole 30 minutes.
check out a whole 30-minute for free. And she's like,
Yeah,
you better
that's great.
stop that.
Right, right.
So, but the cool thing is
Hi,
what,
Kelly.
yeah, hey Kelly, I know you're watching somewhere, right? At some point, you're not watching it live because you got other stuff you're doing with everybody else. But anyway, what's cool is on the back, I put my name and Right Way Outreach Ministries and president founder, and then there's another QR code to be able to let people make donations directly to the nonprofit. So when I hand these cards out, some people are going to be like, "Oh, what's this Right Way?" Maybe they'll check out our Facebook page, maybe they'll check out
Mhm.
our YouTube page. You never know where this goes. I mean,
Yeah,
I travel too, so I give these cards out to people all around the country. So maybe somebody in
yeah,
California will see it or something.
yeah, of
Never
course.
know, man. I never know who's going to see what, but
Maybe Keanu Reeves will see it.
yeah, right.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. That'd be cool. So anyway, so that's kind of what we got going on. We're probably going to have the art show stuff talking about that soon, because we got a nice big place here. But let's get into tonight's discussion, about what we want to talk about, which is pretty fairly serious and kind of scary topic of
mhm,
psychiatric facilities, and exactly what goes on in these places, right? Like, I mean, because people in these places can be pretty messed up,
mhm.
man. I mean, some of them don't
When you're
speak,
when
you
you're
know.
dealing with people with real mental issues, real
Yeah, real.
psychological problems, it gets very intense, you
Oh
know?
yeah, man. They
Some
hear
people.
voices and
Yes,
stuff,
yes.
man, and they got bad voices in their head, and
Mhm.
you got schizophrenic people in there,
Yeah,
man. You got it all, dude. You got it all. You got people that a lot of people recently committed suicide or tried to commit
right.
suicide. So they're admitted to the psych ward for evaluation purposes.
Mhm.
And then you got other people who are just whacked out on whatever kind of drug they were on, and then they
Right.
get evaluated and medicated. The key word is everybody gets medicated. Like
Yeah.
that, every single person in there is on
It's almost
meds.
protocol.
Oh, it's
You
the
walk
first
through
thing
the
you
door
do.
and
It's
they just
like
shove
boom,
a
meds,
handful of
shove,
pills
take
down
this,
your mouth.
and it ain't like a couple pills, man.
No,
They're
no.
giving you like a Dixie cup, and I'm
Filled.
like, can you tell me what's in there? And they're like, shut up and
Right.
eat it. So
Swallow that. Right.
swallow it all, and you better
Lift
show me
your
your
tongue up.
tongue and make sure you
Yeah.
get it. You know what I'm
Lift your
saying?
tongue up. I've
I mean,
been
make
there,
sure
brother.
that
Yeah.
stuff went down the right pipe, man. And everything's regimented. They got their schedule of activities, which is basically nothing, right? They
Yeah.
want you to kind of like sleep, but you can't sleep in these places, man. They give you
Yeah.
a bed with like no sheets, right? And they give you like a paper gown, like a
Yeah.
shirt that's made literally of paper,
Right.
and pants that are paper, and underwear. I mean, if you're a big guy like me, good luck trying to get something that fits, right?
Yeah.
So, and they give you like little flip flops and stuff, and it depends on the type of place you stay in about the shower situation, right? Because I was at a place where we shared a shower with a roommate, right? That was one place I was at, was to share the shower with the roommate.
Mhm.
And then I had another place where everybody on the floor used the same bathroom, men and women, right?
Wow.
That was old school, man. That was
Yeah.
old school. It was like,
Yeah.
so you had to hurry up and get your shower in time. But man, there's all kind. I mean, people got all kinds of like funguses and
Mhm.
stuff on their
Yeah.
feet and everything, and you got to take a shower with these same places where these, and they don't clean it, man. Like they don't clean these places after everybody takes a shower and disinfect it. You're just like in
Yeah.
there. They got a
It's
lot
just one right after another.
well, a lot of homeless people actually go there, and the
Yeah.
reason they go there,
3 hots and a
especially
cot.
yeah, especially in the wintertime
Mhm.
when it's super freezing cold outside, is they voluntarily admit themselves as guinea pigs to take all these pills because they just want to get, like Tony said, 3 hots and a cot,
Mhm.
right? They want to
Get out
get
of the
fed,
cold.
get
Right.
out of the cold, and they think it's like they act like it's Club Med, man, and you know who they are, you can tell who they are,
Mhm.
they don't have a care in the world, most of them. They're just in there to use the system, which costs somewhere to the tune of like $28,000 for like a 10-day stay.
Mhm.
So you want to talk about insurance fraud, right?
Mhm.
And what these hospitals do and let these homeless people come in there that don't really have problems, but they want to fill the beds because they want to get checks from the federal government and the state government. And I mean, you really want to expose something,
Yeah.
call the news and have them do a story on that
Right.
about who's really not supposed to be in a mental hospital. And do doctors get kickbacks for referrals,
Oh, of
like,
course.
for sending
Yes,
people
of
there? And
course. Certain
how's all that work?
medications
And
and the
then,
farmer
the big
the
farm, gets
yeah.
their cut, and then
Yeah,
we
yeah.
get another patient for life because we get them hooked on all this potent
You
medication.
know, one psychiatric I can't even remember the name of it, but, it was downtown,
Mhm,
West Baltimore, in a
mhm,
really bad
yeah,
area,
mhm,
so the people in there were in bad shape, but I swear that they were getting a kickback from the manufacturers of Seroquel because they were
wow.
giving everybody Seroquel.
Seroquel, right? Yeah,
Everybody
right,
was on
right,
Seroquel. I don't care if
right.
you had a hurt toe, you got Seroquel for it, you
Man,
know?
yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy,
so,
man.
I mean,
It's
they were just
mhm,
stacking people up with, this medication,
mhm.
you know?
And they try to do these like groups, right? But you got like the one guy that looks like Charlie Manson that the only thing missing from his face is the swastika on his
Yeah,
forehead, but he looks just like the guy,
right.
and he's freaking out about everything. He's like singing like devil music in the corner, and then you got like the people that don't speak, because they're so deep in whatever,
That
kind of
other world.
demon is tormenting them. Because
Mhm.
let's be honest with you, man. I mean, people, let's talk about that for a minute. And the Bible talks about this. This is very spiritual. That this is very real. That the world we live in is a spiritual place, man. And
Mhm.
when you walk with Jesus and you walk with God, you walk with light, right? Like I was at my daughter's graduation, and all they were talking about was, walk with the light, shine your light on the
Mhm.
darkness, right? And like I don't think these kids really understood like what the priest was saying, like about good and evil. Like sometimes they need to dumb it down and explain that this is a real evil world that we live in, and who controls the world. I mean, ultimately God controls the world, right? But
Sure.
he gives us free will to do what we want to do.
Mhm.
And then those of us who choose to submit to him, he gives us wisdom and he gives us guidance, and he kind of lets us kind of lead the way on where we're going in life and stuff like that, right?
Right.
So, he kind of helps us. But for those that don't, who's controlling you, right? So, I mean, because let's talk about it, right? How did the devil wind up down here? He was a fallen angel, right? He was
Mhm.
pretty good musician,
Mhm.
pretty good looking guy,
Yeah.
right? Like he's a good looking angel and everything, and
Mhm.
he challenged God, man, and then God was like, not up in here.
Yeah.
He's like, that's it. You're
Right.
you're going down to the world,
Yeah.
man. So, So this is like the devil's playground, man.
Mm.
And let me tell you, these psychiatric facilities are nothing but the devil's playground. And he's got demons in there where people are at their absolute lowest point in their life, man.
Mhm.
And they are isolated and they are alone. And there is nothing spiritual in those places to protect these people or anything like that.
Yeah.
They need people from they need Christian people to go into these psychiatric facilities and preach to these people and talk to these people
Yeah.
and counsel these people. But see, they don't want to do that because when you have Jesus, guess what you don't need? Drugs, right? And then
Right.
and you don't need drugs no more
Yeah.
because Jesus is what? What was Jesus? I mean, I tell my wife this all the time. I'm like, you do know he was a healer, right?
Right.
Like he was known as a healer.
Yeah.
He helped people who couldn't walk, like they touched his robe and then they started walking and stuff,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And he helped blind people that couldn't see.
Yeah.
He helped people who couldn't hear. Like, he did miracles. There's so many different things in the Bible that he did, and this is what he was known for. So this is the thing, man. If you have Jesus, you don't need, this is my argument for the book that I wrote, is that you don't need to have these insane asylums. If these people were just spiritually counseled the right way and had some kind of, like, I mean, you have to have like a counselor in there, but
Mhm.
what about having like a spiritual counselor in there,
Yeah.
like, or I mean, as much as I'm not a big fan of, but say like a priest or something, right?
Mhm.
Maybe he only comes once a week. I mean, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I would think that people would want to volunteer to do this. I mean, I know I certainly would volunteer to go into these psychiatric
Yeah.
facilities
Yeah.
and give my own time like once a month where I could go in there and talk about Jesus and share the word and share the Bible and share scripture and give these people some kind of hope, man, and
Mm.
some kind of like, something to fall back on, and maybe make sure that they have copies of the Bible readily available for
Mm.
these people to
Yeah.
read. I mean, it's amazing. It's all garbage in these facilities that they give you. It's
Yeah.
like, and for the amount of money that it costs to be
Mm.
there, I mean, you would think everybody gets their
Astronomical.
own personal massage chair to sit
It's
in
like
every day.
$10 for an aspirin. One aspirin.
Yeah, but
It's like 10 or
that was
20
probably like
bucks.
1980 prices.
Yeah.
It's probably like $250
Right.
now.
Yeah.
It's like, but it's so crazy. So they try to do these like little groups and stuff where it's like basic, like, fifth grade groups, like all about your feelings and shit. And
Yeah.
it's like, how do you feel? Well,
Coloring
it's like, how do
books.
you think I feel? I'm in a crazy place with a bunch of crazy
Yeah.
people. What do you
Why don't
think
you
I
talk
feel?
about like your first experience?
My first one,
The first one you went into, what
man.
was it like going into there? What
Well,
what was it like
here's the thing. So
while
with
you were
me,
in there?
I kind of bring a little different flavor to this because I've been to several different jails before, not as a inmate, but I used to take kids who were on probation and stuff. I used to take them on prison trips, and we would go down to
Like a
Jessup.
scared straight kind of
Kind of, we
thing?
called it Reason Straight, and,
Okay.
and they would actually like talk to the kids, not scream at the kid. It
Right.
was actually a very good program to kind of get them exposed and say, if you keep doing what you're doing, you're going to wind up in here with
Yeah.
these guys, with the
Mm.
real guys.
Right.
And they got to see. I mean, it's one thing to like watch a movie, right? And see, like, what the showers in prison look like and stuff like that. And it's another thing to see like what a jail cell looks like and all that, and what the toilets look like that have the sink on the top of it and all that, and
Mhm.
the metal and all. It's like, it's one thing to see it, but it's a whole nother thing to experience it and
Yeah.
actually go into a jail cell and have them shut the door
Yeah. You
and
hear that a
talk
lot.
about how you can't leave the room, and you got a roommate in there with you, and you're trying to sleep, and he's doing God knows what in his bunk bed, right? Or he's peeing and pees all over the floor and the toilet because he can't see anything. And yeah, and this is you're in a little tiny cell with that. And same thing with, like, the showers, right? Like, they got the shared showers in prison, and you can see the showers, but like to actually be in there or in there right after, where you can actually smell the filth that was in there, and
Mm.
the soap
Yeah.
stink smell,
Yeah.
and just the filthiness of the place. And
Mm.
then you can actually sit in a chair where they eat at in the mess hall,
Mhm.
because everything's got to be like, so they can't hurt each other. So
Yeah.
it's got to be like bolted to the ground
Right.
so they can't like throw something.
Mhm.
And even in the psych crazy places, they got plastic chairs and stuff
Right.
without, you can't have points on anything. You can't
Mhm.
have.
Yeah.
So it's everything's got to be safe, for when the people kirk out and flip out,
Yeah.
right? Because they do, man. They flip out,
Mhm.
and you never know when they're going to flip out. But to me, from going into prisons, and actually, I've been in female prisons too, and I will say this, man, I know what a woman feels like walking into a bar at like 1 o'clock in the morning when she's the
Mm.
only one there, and it's all men in there wearing their biker jackets. I
Yeah.
know what she feels like because I walked into a woman's prison, and they
And
looked
felt
at
that
me.
same way.
They looked
Right.
at me the way everybody looks at the woman, and I was
Yeah.
just like, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
I did feel good. I felt a
Yeah.
little more
Yeah.
confident, but I was like,
Yeah.
whoa, this is like a little bit
Yeah.
too much in here.
Piece of meat to them.
Oh yeah, man. So, but and the thing is, you never know what's going to happen. You never know who's going to flip out. You never know when lockdown's going to happen. You never know when somebody's going to do something stupid, and you're always on edge. You're always on anxious, panic button, and
Yeah.
stuff.
Sleeping
And
with one eye open.
yeah, you can't sleep in these
Yeah.
places, man, because it's not comfortable. They give you like nothing to sleep with
Yeah.
because you don't want you to hang yourself with the sheets or
Right.
anything.
Yep.
So, it's not comfortable, and they tell you to relax and all, but that's why they dope you up on so many medications. It literally just makes you pass out. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and I honestly would rather go to jail and prison than I would psychiatric facility because I mean the demons that were in this place were like it is unreal, man. It is unreal. And these drugs that they put you on almost make you kind of hallucinate too. So you
Mm.
don't know what's real, what's
Right.
not real,
Yeah.
and you got
Yeah.
staff messing with you and stuff like that, and
Mhm.
egging you on and everything. And I had like the first place I stayed at, I had this like my roommate would play like a little game with me and stuff. Like he would pull out like a book and he would like fold a little piece of the book where he wanted me to like read or see something, right? And then I would see that, and then it would like lead me to another clue. It was like a game he was playing with
Mm.
me. And it's like, and they do that kind of stuff in there, man. And the staff does this kind of stuff too, and they're constantly monitoring you. They got video cameras on you the whole time.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of went a little crazy in the first place I was at, and I actually ripped the toilet out of the floor, man. I got so mad at the roommate for messing with me, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
So but yeah, I mean, it was total insane experience, and
Yeah.
you don't feel safe at all. You don't feel like anybody's got your back,
Right.
unless you got Jesus. Because
Yeah. Yeah.
the last time I was in there, I had the Holy Spirit with me, and for those of you that know my story, they put me in there the last one, and they made me go back because they said, well, you were there, 5 years ago, and we just want to make sure you're not having another manic episode. AKA, we just want to get another
Right.
$28,000 from your
Right.
medical insurance company,
Yeah.
right? Because that's what it's really about here.
Yeah.
And it's just convenient that it's all under University of Maryland, owned by University of Maryland. Like,
Right.
and then they refer me to a therapist that's University of
Of
Maryland.
course. Yeah.
They're all like in cahoots together in this like network of doctors that just create these patients for life and get them trapped on these heavy sedative
Mm.
medication drugs that have
Highly
that have all
addictive.
these side effects, man. I
Yeah.
mean, I gained 20 pounds a year for 5 years, and I'm in my late 40s now. So, like, how am I supposed to lose the weight? I mean, it's not easy, man. When you get
Yeah,
older, and I mean, I am relatively active, but it's just like, but I mean, I went to the doctor. I got checked out. Everything's fine. Yeah, I
yeah,
got my cholesterol's fine, blood pressure's fine, everything's fine. That's because I quit smoking, and I don't do drugs, I don't drink, I don't do
mhm,
anything, anymore. And but, I just it was such a crazy, like, they have, like, arts and crafts time, and they try to
yeah,
get you to, like, make little bracelets and, like, I mean, they treat you like you're 5 years old because
yeah,
these meds that they put you on, like, literally make you a walking, living, breathing zombie. It just strips your personality down to absolutely nothing
yeah.
and turns your brain into, like, applesauce. I mean, really, doesn't it?
Yeah,
And you just kinda just sit
yeah,
there and you just kinda, like, stare at the TV, like, you don't even know
mhm.
what you're watching,
Yeah, right.
but you're watching TV and you just watch it doesn't matter what's on,
Yeah,
you're just sitting there staring at the TV,
yeah.
like the whole time or whatever, but
Now what type the first one you went to, how long were you there?
there's a lot of stuff I don't remember, man. But I think I was there like 14 days was the
Okay.
first one. And they take everything from you too. Like, I mean, your whole world's ripped from you. Like they take your cell phone, you can't make phone calls without permission. I mean, everything is gone. So like you have zero communication with the outside world. They have total control over you 24/7.
Yeah.
Like and you follow their program, like they have their program, and you follow. When it's lunchtime, it's lunchtime, and if it's not lunchtime and you're hungry, you're not eating because it's not lunchtime. Like,
Mm,
you got to wait till the next meal or whatever,
yeah.
and
You're stripped of, like, every freedom
oh, yeah,
that
right.
you
They
can
treat you
imagine.
they treat you like an inmate, man,
Mhm.
and they mark you down and they, like, hold it against you if you don't do hygiene and, like, take showers, but it's like, who wants to take a shower in the same shower where, like, 20, people coming off the street were in there, you know what I mean? Like, I don't wanna get in that shower, you know what I mean? But,
Mhm.
yeah, but then what are you left with? They don't give you any clean clothes, so you're just wearing this paper gown that you've been sweating in, so
Right.
yeah, it's like, I almost wanted to save the outfit so I could, like, wear it for later in life and show people what it looked like. I don't know, like, on a comedy tour or something,
Yeah,
but
right.
I knew I'd be talking about it at some point,
Yeah.
but, it's a scary place to be, but, my point with this whole thing when you kinda bring it back together here is that, you know, if you have Jesus in your life, like, and we were talking about this, how the devil plays tricks on you sometimes too, right? Like there's
Mhm.
people in this life that aren't walking with God that seem and appear to have a very good life, right? They seem
Right.
to they make good money,
Everything on the outside looks good.
they got a good
Mhm.
house, they got a beach house, they got Mercedes, their kids go to private school, and all this.
Yeah.
And on the outside, that apple looks like, man, like, well, they didn't need God, right? Like they didn't need God,
Yeah.
right? But
Other
that's
needs
the
are met.
deception. That's the deception. And the devil
Mhm.
tries to trick you and he wants you to feel comfortable living in sin
That way you
because
don't turn to God.
that way you feel like I don't need God because I'm comfortable living in my sin, right?
Yeah.
And it's just amazing, man. I don't know. Like I personally feel like God desperately. I mean, it's literally as simple as this. Like, I say this all the time, but we're literally like teenagers, like rebellious teenagers, and God is like our father, right? He's our father saying, just listen to me, man. I'm telling you, you don't
Right.
want to be doing this and you don't want to be doing that. Trust me, I know better, you
Right.
know?
Right.
And as a rebellious teenager, you're going, suck it. I'm going to do what I want to
Right.
do. I don't care what you're telling me, old man. This is my life. I'm 18. I'm going to do what I want, blah, 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 blah,
Right.
blah. And the thing is, God he's a great father, man, because, he sits back he sits back and he says, all right, you know, let me know how that
You're
works
right.
out for you.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Let
Go
me
ahead
know
and
how
do
that
it.
works out for you.
Mhm.
Don't
Yeah.
say I didn't warn you, you
Yeah.
know? And
Mhm.
and that's kind of how a lot of people make it through life, you know, and that's how I was, you know. I didn't have God for a long time and I became very successful. I became, you know, had a lot of money and the money changed everything about me, changed my personality, changed who I was. I turned into more of a shrewd person and you know somebody who only really cared about money and nothing else. Nothing made me happy really. And
Mm.
you know, and it just I lost a lot of relationships. I lost a lot of people I was friends with over money. You know, if they like if they listed their home with somebody else, I would take it personally, you know,
Mhm.
and I'll just, you know, cut them off and not talk to them anymore. It's like, you know, it's just it was a very sick way to live, you know. But at the time, you know, I didn't know any different. You
Right.
know what I mean? I was just
Yeah.
living in that sin and the vanity and the
Ignorance is
greed and
bliss.
all that. Right. Ignorance is bliss. And yeah, but God, you know, he was calling me, man. And you know, he was calling me and I wasn't listening. So, you know, he kind of like let the devil just kind of have his way with me. And you know, made me realize by putting me through what he did, you know, which was a pretty spiritual awakening experience, through the Holy Spirit coming into my life and the devil into my head at the same time, and not being able to differentiate the voices that were literally whispering in my ear on my shoulders. You know, it was like,
Mhm.
you know, the devil saying, you know, your wife's out to get you, you know, and God saying, listen, just listen to me. If you get rid of all the drugs, I'll make sure you never smoke weed again, you know. And
Mhm.
so it's like I didn't know who to listen to, what voice to listen to, and I just wound up going a little crazy. And you know, but I think it's important too to kind of bring this up is that, you know, if you know somebody, right, like
Mhm.
personally, and they made a change or something, and you notice like, you know, things in their life just change, or you notice that they're like maybe going through something or whatever,
Mhm.
like, you know, say something to them, man. Like, you know, ask them if they're okay, you know,
Yeah.
ask them, you
And stick
know,
around for
and
the answer.
yeah, and listen, you know, and watch and pay attention,
Mhm.
you know, and can actually care about people, you know.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you, I didn't really have anybody that cared about me. I mean, obviously my wife cared about me, you
Sure.
know, but I'm talking about like, you know, people at work, you know, I was at
Mhm.
work every day, you know, they knew something was going on and chose to just kind of just ignore. And actually, some of them even celebrated the fact that I was not the number one agent anymore, which was
Mm.
actually even kind of more disgusting, you know,
Yeah.
the way they
Yeah.
acted. But it's just it was just it was such a crazy experience to go through and have nobody, you know, there, you know, and you become like isolated, and that's what leads to even more depression and all that. And you know, so if you see something, you know, say something, you know, call people out. You never know who's hurting, you never know who's going through something. And honestly, you never know who needs Jesus, man, you know,
Mhm.
because I'm telling you, man, like just by having Jesus and just by walking with Jesus, I know it sounds simple that Jesus solves everything, and he does, and he does. He straight up does. He solves everything. And you know, you don't need all these pills to make you feel good and to wash your problems away and drink your problems away and smoke your problems away and all the stuff that people do with
Yeah.
the self-medicate.
It's
And,
just masking the
it's you're
issue.
just yeah, you're just kicking the can down the road so it's going to explode one day,
Mhm.
and you're going to wind up in a psychiatric facility with a nervous breakdown or something. And, you know, the other thing is, I think it's important to judge, you know, to not judge, you know, people who have had to have a little timeout period, right? Like,
Mhm.
I mean, we all go through stuff in life. And, you know, quite frankly, I think there's a lot of people that I know personally, that probably would have ended their own life if they went through what I went through. I mean, I
Mhm.
went through an awful lot, and but I chose to just muscle through, man, with
Yeah.
God. He muscled me through and taught me a lot. But it's important not to judge people while they're going through their craziness. Like, remember, they're still a person.
Yeah.
They still have, people in their life, like family and even some close friends and
Yeah.
stuff. They still deserve to be treated like a decent human being and
Yeah.
not looked at as this weird, crazy person,
We
right?
all
And
go
and
through
we do
tough
this like
times.
label, right? Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
nobody's
mean, we all
perfect,
go through it.
right?
We've all, to some extent, been there, you know. But again, it's about your relationship with God, and if you're close with God, then chances are you'll persevere regardless of what circumstance comes down the pike. Because in your heart and in the back of your mind, if you will, you always know it's going to be all right. He's going to bring you through it. And a lot of times when I'm going through tough times, the Lord will speak to me, or God will say to me, it's only temporary. There is light at the end of this tunnel and you're going to get there. This is only temporary. So just keep doing what you're doing. And I fall back on just keep doing the next right thing, making phone calls, whatever it is. And sooner or later, the tides change. They always do.
They always do, man. They always do. And I just all I can say is that, when you have God in your life and you literally, it's not enough just to have him in your life, because anybody can have him in their life. I think he's in everybody's life, to be honest with you, whether they like it or not,
Right, right.
because he is in control, whether you want to accept that or not.
Yeah,
I think is
yeah,
is kind of the argument here. So, but he just, I want to say the word reward, you know, but he definitely, I want to say reward, because I think that that word is kind of like the right word, like where he blesses
yeah.
people
Blessing.
and rewards people who
Hmm.
follow his word and his rules and his program and his instructions. Like,
Hmm.
the Bible is nothing but one big old instruction manual for this, right? It's the human instruction
Experience. Yeah.
manual of how to be the perfect human. Like if you want to run your car and you want to fix your car, the light comes on in the dashboard, you pull out your instruction manual and you find out why the light is, what it means, what it says, and you read on how to fix it, and you either do it yourself or you go to somebody else and have them do it, right?
Hmm.
And treating your own problems the same way. We are designed ourselves to be like Jesus. We were
Hmm.
made in God's image. We were made in God's
Yeah.
image, and we are his children. And bottom line is, if Jesus could do it, then we can do it, because
Yeah.
Jesus was human too, right?
And he even said, "The works I do, you will do greater."
You will do greater. So you can heal yourself with the power of the Holy Spirit,
Hmm.
using God as your healer, right? And look,
Right.
I know a lot of doctors, man, they don't want to hear this crap,
Yeah.
right? A lot of these shrinks and everything,
Yeah.
and psychiatrists and mind doctors, and they go to school and study all this crap in a book. You know what? Try to have the shit in the book and deal with it that way. And then you learn how to heal yourself when you actually get what's in the book,
Right.
right? And then
Right.
you go to the psychiatric place and you heal yourself, because otherwise you're doped up on these pills the rest of your life. And the
Hmm.
thing is like, I'm not saying, we don't need them, right? Because
Yeah.
we do need them
There's
to a degree.
absolutely, absolutely.
But
And
I'm
there's some
saying
people
the
that it's a
majority of them,
literal chemical
but
imbalance
they
that has
don't
to
believe
be.
in God, man. A lot of
I
these
agree.
doctors, man, they
Mhm.
don't. I flat out asked my guy. I was like, "Do you believe in God?"
Yeah.
And he just looked at me like a deer in
Yeah.
headlights.
No,
And
I asked my
and
doctor
I'm
the
just
same
like,
thing.
I mean, I don't want my primary doctor believes in God. Like
Mhm.
I want to know that. That's important to
Yeah.
me. And
Yeah.
all the people I work with, like my accountant is a big believer in God,
Mhm.
and all the people I have in my life, my financial people I work with are believers in God, most
Mm.
of them. Some of them aren't, but maybe that's why I'm in their life to help them find it.
Sure. Right.
But my point is, the whole thing is that we're all healers, man, and we can all heal ourselves and each other
Mhm.
if we just take out the primary instruction manual on how to run ourselves. And when you get the problem in your life, it's like, all right, well, let me go to the Bible and see what it says about, anxiety,
Mm.
and see what it says about depression, and see what it says about what I'm thinking about, right? And the thing is, what's even cooler now is that we got this thing, and the Pope is totally against it, and I'm going to get into that. I'm going to get into that right here, right now, and I'm going to cut it to you straight, because this is what the Pope doesn't want you to know. But he's totally against AI, and I'm totally for AI, right? Like, and look, I'm not the Pope, right? I'm not trying to say I'm the Pope.
Right.
Tony's not the Pope, whatever. Quite frankly, I don't want to ever be the Pope, because I don't even know what you're supposed to have done to get that job.
Yeah.
But a lot of whatever,
It's all
whatever, a
political
lot of
now.
whatever, kissing this and whatever. But my point is that he's against AI, and I'm not. And the reason I'm not is because I firmly believe that you can use AI instead of opening your Bible per se, and go to AI and say, I'm feeling this way. What does the Bible have to say about this and that and this and that?
Mhm.
Right. And if you use AI the right way, you can actually grow closer to God by using AI.
Mhm.
And the reason why the Pope is so threatened by it is because of the monopoly that his church has over everybody, saying you gotta come to church and you
Mhm.
gotta give us your money. I
Yeah.
mean, it's a like a big money laundering thing that they got going
Yeah.
on, man, right? Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not saying that you don't need to go to church and you don't need a spiritual recharge, but what I am saying is that you can actually do it yourself, man. You don't have to be, I don't like the word religious. Like, that's not religious is not the word. It's
Mm.
spiritual, right?
Yeah.
And there's a whole bunch of different religions out there, right?
Mhm.
Most of them do end up with the God, right? They all
Right.
do admit that there is one final God that is
Mhm.
over everything. They just kind of differ on who you
Who
need
it
to talk
is.
to get to him,
Right.
right? Like,
Yeah.
some
Mhm.
people say Jesus, some people say Buddha, some people say,
Uh-huh.
but the whole point is it all ends up with God, right?
Mm.
So, I mean, all these religions can't be wrong with the fact that there's a God. Like, even if you want to say, well, I don't agree that there was a Jesus and I'm Jewish or I'm Muslim or I'm whatever. Okay, well,
Yeah.
you still wind up with God,
Yeah.
right? So I just, that's my thing. Like, and I think the church is just very unaccepting of other, it's like it's very rigid, like it's our way or the
Mm.
highway.
Yeah.
It's closed-minded thinking.
Mhm.
And, I think the Pope is having a little bit of drink of sobriety cup, saying, um, you know, you know, the jig is up,
Mhm.
right? The game is over, because now people don't need us anymore because they can use AI. And we got to do something about that. So
Right.
AI is the devil.
Yeah, yeah.
It's AI, it's devil, devil.
Right.
No, it's no, dude.
Right.
God created AI, dude. Okay, God created everything, right? So it's here for us to use as a tool,
Right.
and it's up to us to use it as a tool for good or as a tool for evil, right? I
Right.
wrote a book about that, but I really do feel like people, the new way of doing spirituality, the new age, the new way, the universe, and all this, people talk about all this power manifesting and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, me personally, I'm a Jesus guy. Okay. I know, look, that this book is the best selling book of all time. It
Mhm.
is right. I have followed the directions and taken the prescriptions in it, and it has led me the right way. So I know it works, right? I know it works. I'm just trying to give you a testimonial to tell you that it works. Tony knows it works. He's trying to tell you that it works. And all you gotta do is just use it to kinda help solve your problems. Like, I mean, I don't know why people run to these pills and these powders and these potions and these
Because it's
and these
everywhere.
witch doctors and
Every
these
other
black
commercial is
magic
for
people
an
and
antidepressant.
yeah, it's crazy.
I know
Yeah.
you don't watch much TV. I don't
I'll
watch
try
much
not to.
TV
Yeah, I really
either,
do.
but I'm telling you, every other commercial is for a pill.
Right. I know.
It really
I know.
is.
And they program you, man. They
Yes,
program you. And
yes, and
that's
it's
a
all over the
It's a whole
billboards,
thing,
and
and
it's
you ever
everywhere.
think about that, back in the day, right?
Yeah.
With the TV shows, what did they used to well, back in the day when they first came out,
Mm,
they were so in your face with what they were doing to you, they called it the program that's on,
right, the
because the
program.
program is programming you.
Mhm.
It's programming you.
That's why I
I
don't
mean,
watch TV,
my
honestly.
grandmother's used to, she used to call the TV. She used to call the TV the idiot box.
Mm,
You know why? Because she
makes
said
you
if you
stupid.
watch enough TV, you become an idiot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And that's the thing. You just become what you're programmed. You become whatever you feed yourself and whatever you feed your mind. And if you feed your mind nothing but garbage and sitcom reruns and whatever, like, then that's what you're going to get: garbage in, garbage out. But if you take some time out of your day and put some scripture in your mind and read some scripture that actually is going to change your life and explain to you, how you should be doing certain things in your life and how you should, treat people and how you should help people and how you should, be a steward for God and bless people, right, and pray for your enemies and wait for this word, forgive.
mm,
Oh, we're called to forgive people
yeah.
who wrong us. I
Turn
mean,
the other cheek.
all you
That's what the
Catholics go
Lord
to
said.
church and you like to sit there and say the Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, right? And you go through this whole chant together and hold hands and all this stuff and go through your spiritual chants. But do you actually listen to what the words are, right? About those who trespass against us
Mhm.
and then lead us not into temptation,
Right.
but deliver us from evil
Yeah.
or from the evil one,
Mhm.
right? That I mean, you're saying it, but you're not thinking it.
Right.
You're programmed to just repeat what the priest
Yeah.
says, but do
You
you
gotta bring it
actually
from here
yeah,
to here.
thinking about it, and
It's gotta be in your heart.
that's what reading the book, reading the Bible, that's what it does to you, and the one scripture that I was so happy that the priest read at my daughter's graduation was Matthew. He read about the lampstand and how you need to put the lampstand on top of the table for the light to be shown through all the darkness, and that's
Mm.
how we need to live our lives, as the lampstand, and
Mhm.
we need to be the light that
Yes.
that God wants us to be. He wants us all to be like Jesus. That's why he sent Jesus here. Jesus was sent to earth to be an example of who we are supposed to be. That's why he was sent here. He wasn't sent here because he wanted to, bring us to the to the heaven and all this stuff. Like that's all a very small part of it, but a big part of why he was here and why he lived as long as he did and why he preached as much as he preached and why they wrote so much about this crazy guy that everybody called crazy, by the way, right? Who never went to seminary, last time I checked, who was never an ordained minister or pastor or pope or bishop or deacon or whatever else you want to call all these people in the church. He never had any of those titles at all.
Right.
He was just a crazy man preaching about God, right? And the thing, and it's just crazy to me that people just don't just understand, what that what he said and why he was here. It is to show us how we should be living our lives and conducting our lives and treating one another. And that's why in my book, the most important part of the book in the Bible, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, is going to be Matthew chapters 5 through 7, which is the Sermon on the Mount. And that is when Jesus stands up and reads the Beatitudes and then basically tells you all the rules that you are to live by using parables and stories as examples, right? And what a Christian is and what you're supposed to do and all this stuff, right? And it just, so if you're not going to read anything out of the whole Bible, just do yourself a favor and just pull out your Bible. And if you don't want to pull out your Bible, go to ChatGPT, go to Google, go to whatever, and type in Matthew chapters 5 through 7. And I would also put there NIV for the easier version to read.
Yeah.
Because if you get King James, it's a little intimidating sometimes with the wording. But I would say the NIV version for beginners, right? And just read that, man. I mean, if you can honestly just read that, which will take maybe 10 minutes out of your entire life, you're already like 150,000 steps ahead of everybody else, right? I mean, I'm going to tell you, man, there's so many people that go to church that have never read it.
Yeah.
They've never read the Bible. They don't know what's in it. They just go to church because why? Well, their mom took them to church and their dad took them to church and they want to say,
It's a
hey,
tradition.
we're the Brady Bunch because we go to church on Sundays and eat brunch together at IHOP or whatever. Like that's what we do, right? But it's not like a check the box, man. Like and that's the thing is that you don't, and this is what the Pope is so scared about, is that with the advances of technology, you don't necessarily have to go to church anymore to be able to access God directly. And that's what scares him because it threatens the church.
But then the
Because
Lord
if you don't
also
have to go
says
to
the kingdom of
church,
heaven is within you.
well, that's my point, right?
Yeah.
So it is, and that's the point. So you don't have to go to church,
Right.
and the church does not want that. They don't want that message
course
out
not.
there, man.
Of course not.
Because they need your money, dude.
Yes, the
And they
Vatican
don't
is
want
one
to
of
come
the
out and say,
wealthiest,
they
richest
don't want to
places in the
say,
world.
we need your money. We need your money. But that's what they are really saying when you look at the truth and they get on TV. They're freaking out because they can't get your money now if you can find God some other way without them, you know? And that's my whole thing. So you gotta be very careful on listening to people and what they say and following people because you always got to think of what is the real agenda, like. And the thing is, when you walk with God, he reveals the real agenda to you, and he opens your eyes and he gives you discernment and he gives you wisdom. and you can clearly kind of pick these things apart and do what I'm doing and look at this and go, you know what? I never really thought about that, but Mike actually has a point when he says the Pope's worried about money not coming into the churches anymore
Yeah.
because people don't have to go to church to find God because they can use AI.
Mm,
That narrative is not very good. So what
yeah.
do? Don't use AI. It's the
Right.
Antichrist.
It's evil.
It's the
Right.
Antichrist, right?
Mhm.
So anyway, um, I guess my whole point is that just don't take what leaders say at face value, and this goes for Trump too. He has a hidden agenda too. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah.
And all these politicians have hidden
Yeah.
agendas. All these companies have hidden agendas. All the top 1% has hidden agendas. They all want you to, they all want to take your money, man. It all comes down to money.
Mhm.
Because what's the Bible say, man? The love of money
Is
is
the
the root of
all
all evil, man. That is the truth, and that is what ruins people, man. And that is what the top 1% is all about. It's all about their money, and truth hurts, man. Truth hurts, So man, I know where all that came from because I was tired starting out. Hmm. But we're over 10 minutes like we
Yep.
usually are,
Yeah.
so we're gonna wrap it up because some of us have to go to work tomorrow.
Both of us.
Man, both of us have to go to
Yeah.
work tomorrow because everybody's working for the weekend,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, man, and no joke. So it happens this time of year. We're all working every day. I'm actually working Saturday and Sunday. I'll be working Sunday too.
Me too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And and then we start right back with Monday, man. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, whatever, and then we'll be back here next Friday night at 8 o'clock.
Episode 4.
It'll be episode 4. Not
Can't
sure
wait.
yet what we're going to talk about.
It's gonna be a good one.
But it's always a good one.
Yeah.
I have a feeling something really big is going to happen for us this week.
Yeah, and that
I don't know
that
what it
might
is.
wheel its way into episode
It
4.
might kind of take off what episode 4 is going to be about.
Right.
I had this feeling. Call it a gut feeling, but
Mhm.
um,
Intuition, gut feeling.
but what's Justin Timberlake song go? Right, I got this feeling inside my bones. Right.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I just got this feeling, man, because this week has just been so incredible. And, things are starting to come back in my life. I'm starting to get blessed again. I
Mm.
added some more incredible people to the brokerage this week.
Yeah.
I had some more settlements this week. I had some good news happen this week. And the good news is finally starting to just take over the bad news. So
Yeah,
I
there
feel
you
like
go.
I feel like I'm like I don't want to say it, but I feel like I'm like over that hump,
Yeah,
like the
go ahead and
season.
say it.
I think
Yeah.
it's a new season, Tony. I
Mhm.
think I think God has a new season for me. I
Yeah.
think He's got a new season for you,
Yeah.
and so we're going to see what happens this time next week. But it should be good. So
Yeah.
tune in
Next week.
next Friday night at 8 o'clock, and we'll keep you posted on all the good stuff we got going on and updates and stuff like that. So peace out, take care, and have a good one. See you.
Bye.